Welcome, 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 everyone, to You've Championed Yourself. Who are you? I'm Chris Ferguson, your host, and it has been a dream of mine to showcase ordinary people doing extraordinary things in life and for themselves and for others. Those who have taken their dreams or ideas and then turned it into their reality. As they reach beyond their personal struggles, their personal pains, their traumas, where so many give up, that these people don't lose. They don't lose hope. They walk through their obstacles, they walk through their challenges. They don't know where they're going. They don't know how it's going to end up. They just know that they trust in themselves enough not to give up, to do the follow through in their personal life, their career, and in relationships. This is what I call a champion of life. And today I have an amazing, amazing woman here. She's all about health and she's all about technology. And we're going to have a conversation about that because of my experiences. But I'd like to welcome Chu Tang to the podcast today. Hi, Chu.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. It's sunny. Yeah. Very
Oh,
nice.
well, that's always good considering it's been raining here for like the last week.
Oh, okay.
So when I interview my people that come on the podcast, I want to know about the backstory, about what you went through, the places you've been, the things that you've done that have helped make you who you are today. Can we talk about that?
Sure, sure. Yeah. Yeah. So I was born in Cambodia. I was a perfectly happy child. Yeah,
Mm,
very happy to a very amazing family. And then when I was 6 years old, I moved to Vietnam
mm,
to study Chinese because it was not legal to study Chinese in Cambodia. So my family sent the first three eldest kids to Vietnam, and again I was very happy, and then something happened, the war, right?
mm,
Yeah. So then I got separated from the rest of my family. They got stuck in Cambodia, and I lost, I think, about 23 family members, including extended family, my dad, my youngest sister, and my grandparents.
mm,
In the so they die in the killing field, and
mm,
then and then I experienced the war in Vietnam. When it became communist and all that. So my health starting to not do well. So I got meningitis, and then I almost died. And
mm,
and because of the lack of medicine, because at that time good doctors already left Vietnam. Yeah.
mhm,
And then I escaped. I was one of those boat people. I
mm,
escaped to Malaysia. And again, still haven't heard from the rest of my family, like my mom, my brother and sister, or my dad. I had no idea that they died at that time. So I
mm,
escaped to Malaysia, and then I got hepatitis. I almost died again. Yeah. So always, so from a perfectly healthy child, and now I was struggling with health. Yeah. And then I came to US, moved to Fort Lauderdale, and and then I moved to California. But over the course of the year, I always easily get flu. Easy get I get flu, I got vertigo, I get Bell's palsy. So health is always my challenge. And coming to this country, I didn't speak any English at all, right? And so I was
mm.
very open to American culture. Yeah, because yeah, it's like freedom for the first time because I had freedom and I lost freedom and then now I have freedom again. Yeah. So yeah, and then I always fascinated in film. I say, oh, one day, I want to see my name on the big screen.
Mm,
So I follow my dream. I started as a programmer and I follow my dream, and then I work in visual effects. So fast forward 20 years later, I work on film like Lord of the Rings, King Kong, Avatar, and then because of that, I moved to New Zealand, and then I also work on Pixar animation, movies and all that. So I moved to Vancouver, and then now I'm back to San Francisco because I went to UC Berkeley, so I love the Bay Area, and now I'm like a huge circle. I'm back to San Francisco, so that's where I am.
oh, I love the fact that you're into movies because I'm in the process of creating a documentary of my journey of Mother Earth
Oh,
and the chakras and the vortexes.
yeah.
And so it's amazing. All the movies that you named that you worked on were movies that I really resonated with, but the fact is it takes a certain kind of vision in a person to be able to understand. And I get it. It's programming, it's in the computers, it's in technology, but it still takes that creative spark to be a part of that, to be able to do the digital formatting of all those characters and interacting them on film. Can we talk about that? I'm totally amazed right now.
Yeah, because when we were working on Lord of the Ring at that time, creating digital photorealistic human was a challenge because of the renderer. The renderer is a program that allow us to output like beautiful, photoreal pictures. So for me, I always I'm a very visual person, so I always like to study. For instance, like I would, when we need to create a very photoreal, Frodo, Elijah Wood, right? Then I will study, the all the turntable of the actor. We say turntable is that we take pictures of the actor like on a turntable, and then and then also the prop that they were using, like the knife, the sting, I mean, we got to access to the real thing. So I would study it, looking at the light, turning it, I study the characteristic of it. And then I go write a program. So I write a program. So when I'm writing the program, I'm actually literally putting the real thing next to me. So some reason, it's just the optical and yeah. So I wrote the program to help make it look for the real. Yeah. So to me, it's the same thing. It's problem solving, something that has not been done before. It's almost the same as like I came to this country, I didn't know how to speak English, but then I say no. As long as I'm willing to learn, I'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
I see.
same.
I love that attitude. I have the same attitude, and I grew up here. But I think it's the adverse situations and experiences that you have that depends on the attitude that you take. It either makes you a victim, or you say, I'm not labeling myself that way.
Yes.
And when you said you moved to Cambodia to learn Chinese, that is one of the hardest languages in the world to learn. That and Russian.
Yeah,
And
I actually moved from Cambodia to Vietnam. Yeah. Sorry, my I moved to so many places. People have hard time like, so where did you move to?
And I get that, but the fact is that it's the determination to want to learn it, and then to become into films and take that digital or that visual and turn it into a digital character.
Yeah.
That's amazing, because so many people don't understand the challenges that goes into that. To take let's say a photograph of somebody and then create a character out of it. I know that Facebook has a couple programs where you can take your face and create it into a cartoon kind of thing, but
Right.
this is to a whole different level.
Oh yes.
Because of like the Lord of the Rings you were in, Avatar, these different films, those were pretty much all digital. Most people don't realize that.
Yeah. The forest. Like I wrote the program for the forest, for the avatar to make full. And I have to thank my dad, because he was a very resilient person. He was very resilient, and he never give up. And my grandma too, and my mom too. They never give up. So I inherit that inner strength from them. Yeah. So yeah.
That's amazing. And so you did, let's go back and list it. Lord of the Rings, Avatar,
King Kong.
Yeah.
And then I work on X-Men 3. And before that I work on Mighty Joe Young, Inspector Gadget, Bicentennial Man. And then
I love these. I love these. These are all films that had messages for humanity, that had messages for people to know that, they're to think beyond the limits.
Yep. And Finding Dory, which is on my poster. I love
I saw that, but I was going to ask you about that. But I love the fact that you have that creative understanding in you to be able to do that and take a photograph and make it into a character digitally on a film. That's amazing. I'm technology challenged. So when you talked about being, it's all about problem solving. I get it. It's a huge problem for me, and I'm still trying to solve it. However, Let's talk about problem solving.
Mm.
How did you go about problem solving in your life?
So problem solving, when someone mention about a problem, the first thing I'll do, it's kind of like when we do CPR, right? When something happened, you look at the surrounding. So I would take step back and see all the possibility of causing this problem, and then I will approach in parallel different solution, and then I'll come to a conclusion and say, oh, this is the best. And also I I I mean, I don't know all the answer, so I always consult the expert of different component of it. Yeah, so always reach out to my colleague, my friends, and say, hey, what do you think? And then I'll take their opinion and then pointers. Yeah, and then I'll make my own conclusion. Yeah. So
How did you use the problem solving in your health? Because that's you're all about health. So I'm kind of curious because I know what it's like to move because I lived in Fort Lauderdale. I don't know if you knew that.
oh no, wow.
I'm from out west in Wyoming,
Uh-huh.
Colorado, Wyoming. And when my snowblower broke, I said, no, I can't, I'm not shoveling the snow out here because it gets too deep. So my husband, and he says, I don't care where we move as long as I can do what I do here. And so we moved to Fort Lauderdale, well, outside of Fort Lauderdale. It
Yep,
was
yep.
a western city, but it was a suburb of Fort Lauderdale in Broward County.
Okay.
And when you said Fort Lauderdale, I kind of grinned, and it was like, it is a small world. You just never know.
Yep.
Because I was in Florida from 90 till 2011.
Okay. I already left.
Yeah. So, but the fact is it's a big city. It's most people don't realize
Yeah.
there's a million people in that county.
Yeah. Yep. Wow. Wow.
So, but back to you. How do we do problem solving with your health?
So health is, to tell you the truth, health is a lot more challenging than technology, because technology is programming, right? So you know the input, you know the output. So it's very, very linear, very straightforward. But when it comes to health, it's very complicated because everyone is different. And to me, I don't believe one size fits all for health, because I believe that we all have resonate with different type of medicine. So it's not like one medicine fits all. Yeah. And the most important thing is very tuned into what the body needs. So for instance, like if I eat something and I don't feel good, I'm not going to lie to myself and say, oh, it's good for me, I have to eat it. If I don't feel good, listen to the body. So I think it's the listening to the body. That's the most important. And then sometimes it's the intuition too, right? Say if something doesn't feel right, like if I take a particular vitamin and everybody says it's good, but I don't feel good about it, then stop taking it.
And I get that. So I guess my question is, so you're more holistic?
Yes, I'm more holistic. And of course, when it comes to emergency or some, like if some illnesses require seeing the doctor, surgery and all that, I don't disbelieve that, but I believe in more like a complementary, like for instance, like someone had chemo. Yes, that has helped, but we have complementary to help the body to recover. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's how I see it. Yeah.
So you have the best of West meets East.
Yes. Yeah. They have all the best. Yeah, take the best from each, system. Yeah.
I've always been more holistic. I've always trusted that the universe and the earth provides us all the natural medicines that we could have and use here. But in my understanding, a lot of the illness that we cause ourselves by the way we think, the things we think of, how we act, the behaviors we do. And when you bring all of that around, like if you don't give your mind the chance to relax, and you're constantly overthinking, you're going to fatigue the body, you're going to fatigue the mind, and your body's going to have a chemical reaction to that.
Yes, emotional health is very important. It drives the physical health. Definitely agree.
So I'm more holistic. With you, I agree that, there is a time when surgery is necessary.
Yeah.
There's a time when medications are an absolute. However, with everything going on in the world today, I would prefer to take supplements and vitamins to help me stay healthy.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I've been on natural. I haven't taken the medicine for over 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I go with acupuncture, homeopathy, natural way, like, yeah, yeah. But I'm not saying that, everybody should like that. Depends. It really depends on the person.
And I agree, but I do acupressure and acupuncture both.
Oh,
So
wow.
the fact is so, like I said, they call it dry needling here in
Oh, okay.
Tennessee, but it is acupuncture, and it's amazing. And when they can get through the muscles and get through to the nerve endings and get them to relax because of all the tenseness that's going on, it just relieves all the pressure. It
Yep,
takes
yeah,
all the stress out of the muscles, and it's like you can't stop it. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
yeah,
It's going to help you regardless.
yeah, yeah. It's so true. It's so true. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what kind of in your health, do you have clients that you talk to as far as all health?
Uh, Actually, I want to reach out to people who are very health centered because I like to build a community that we focus on health and we go help people and we also help educate people. So something very simple like drinking water, getting good sleep. Those are the two very important things for health. Yeah, yeah. So it's my community, my time that I contribute to the community. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
I love that. When you talk about technology, now we're circling back around because I'm just so intrigued about all this digital stuff because I'm so uneducated on it.
No.
What made you become a programmer?
So I was pretty good in math. So then I got a math major and I said, what do I want to do with math? So on my first job, my first supervisor hired me as a programmer. So I learned on the job.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I still remember vividly. I asked him like, "Oh, what do what does skill you're looking for?" He says, "Someone who's willing to learn, and someone who's smart." I said, "Oh, okay. I don't think I'm smart, but I'm willing to learn." I still remember vividly in that interview, the first interview out of the college, right? Yeah, so I became a programmer. I said, "Wow, this is neat." Yeah,
That's amazing. And you, instead of just being an ordinary programmer, you went into the film business.
because I love photography. I love visual. When I watch a movie, I say, "Wow, how do they do that?" You know? Yeah, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Mm.
That was the one that inspired me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so how do they put the 2D animation into live action?
Yes.
Yeah,
And I
that's
think
the
that's what all of us, we love those animated human connections. And so that's why those kind of movies are so successful generally, because it opens the imagination up and brings it into the human being.
yep, yep, yep.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, what do you see for your future coming up? Do you have any big plans? Any stuff that you can talk about? Any?
Yeah, so I believe most of us give a little bit thought about our life during the pandemic. So because I didn't have to commute 2 hours to work, back and forth, I had more time to think about it, and I've been taking supplement, and they from direct marketing, all that, and so last year I started to give it a try as a side project or side business, give it a try, and one of them is you know a C redox molecule, and the other one this year is Q Science, and I really like the vitamins. Yeah, so I see that I maybe 5 years from now, I may be able to quit my full time job right now as a programmer, and then step into the world helping people, and yeah,
Well, think of it this way. Look at how many people you've helped by creating those digital movies that gave them so much. I'm serious. It gave them so much pleasure to get away from the rat race, to get them away from all
Oh,
the chaos in life. Think about that. I don't think you have. I think that's amazing. You
wow.
really are. I honor you in this because it's like, wow, who knew? Who
Thank
knew?
you. Thank you for your kind word. Thank you so much. I didn't see it that way. Thank you. Yeah.
And I kind of got that. It was like, there's more to this than what you know, because the fact is you know when a movie's a flop. You know when they've pushed the envelope or the screen. I mean, I'm learning all about screen scripts. You
Oh,
know, I'm
yeah.
learning about pitch decks. I'm learning about all the industry stuff. So
Mm,
this is why I'm fascinated by this. But the fact is in a movie, when you can be a part of a movie that can
mm,
engage a person in to be able to suspend time,
mm,
take them to that moment, see them in that moment with that character,
mm,
experiencing what that character does.
yeah.
That is huge because you've just gotten past the critical factor in their subconscious
Yeah.
to make that connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is amazing. That's a huge accomplishment. It's that poet's dream to be able to write that poetry that would
Mhm.
able to inspire people to become their best versions of themselves.
Wow.
It is the same thing. It's just a different format.
Wow. I love that. I love that. I'll share it with my colleagues.
Because the fact is that no matter what it is, no matter what you do, it's how you engage people and how you help them understand the possibilities. I mean, because
Yeah.
let's talk about it with avatars. There's a lot of light workers on this planet. There's a lot of energy workers on this planet who all have been to their own avatar. And
Oh,
then they created the avatar and their avatar came even more to life.
wow. Wow.
And so people don't think about that. Then it also takes the people that are having a rough time in life a couple hours to sit in a movie theater and
Yeah.
dream, where normally in their
Yeah.
everyday they don't have the ability to dream.
Yeah. That's, you know what, you hit the right, my, basically that's why I like movie, because no matter how depressed I get, I go watch a beautiful movie. That's my drug.
Well, it's your escape. It brings you out of what's going on in your life to be able to engage in that movie,
Yeah. And
and it
it
takes
just
you
like a,
out of your issues. It takes you from overthinking your issues. It takes
yeah.
you to that.
Yeah.
Just okay. That's okay for right now. We're putting that all on the table. We're here in
Mhm.
this movie. We're enjoying this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. And something about the beautiful cinematography. It's just yeah, it's just beautiful. And then, just remind, actually there are a lot of beautiful things in life that I sometimes don't notice. And then when I see how a cinematographer, put that, like for instance, like a Forrest Gump, right? Remember Forrest Gump?
Hmm.
It's just something flowing in the air, right? At the beginning, the opening.
Hmm.
I'm like, wow.
The feather was
The
floating.
feather, yeah. And even that, you know, it's an art.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So next time I see like a hummingbird, it's beautiful. It just reminds me a lot of beautiful things in life. Yeah.
And I agree with you. I try to see the simplicity of life in every day because no matter
Mm,
what happens, we overcomplicate it a lot of times. We
mm,
get offended by it when it's not offensive, or we make it offensive, or we try to
mm.
politicize it or to create something more out of it than what it is.
Yes, yes, I
And
agree.
so, in simplifying life and taking it
Mm,
as, you know what, the sun rose this morning and it was amazing sun, it was beautiful, it's going to be an amazing day. That's my mindset. And
yeah,
so I see the little things in life instead of, what's this? What's that? I wish well to all the people going through pain and struggles in life because in this country, we have a lot of things we have to work on. It isn't
yeah.
as bad as it is in other countries.
No, no.
People in this country take their freedoms for granted. When
Yes,
you have no freedoms,
yeah.
and most people, and I want to just go back because I was born in 59, so I knew about the killing field. I saw the movie.
Oh,
So, and most people don't know what the killing field was. It was an actual event in Cambodia
mhm.
where the I don't know if he was president or emperor or whatever he called himself, decided that it was either my way or you were dead. And
Yeah.
there it was genocide. It was
Yeah, yeah,
absolute
we were
genocide.
genocide, yeah.
And so many people were killed. And I love the fact that you didn't take that horrible trauma and pain that you had
Mm.
and make it yours, because it wasn't yours. It was happening around you and to your family.
Yeah, but they sacrificed their life, and then I'm so fortunate to be alive, so I have to celebrate life. I have to live the life to the fullest. So my dad, I believe he's in heaven, is not disappointed, right?
Oh, I agree. But the thing is think of the legacy that you're leaving. Most people don't think about that. In our country, our biggest thing is that the society and the government has demolished the family unit.
Mm.
And so it's really hard to get somebody just to stand up and say, no, that's not right. And a lot of times it's not a family member that will stand up and say, no, that's not right. That's an injustice, because they're so fragmented and so torn apart that it's like, I'm an individual and I'm the only one that matters. So
And
most
yeah,
people don't
Chris,
understand that.
I think my past was not a tragedy, but also became a blessing, because when I was a happy child, I think I was thinking the same way, because I didn't when you didn't lose something, I was thinking the same way. I mean, nobody believed me that when I was a student in Cambodia, I was a D student.
Mm.
In my mindset, I was like, oh, I'm happy. I'm not failing the class. I didn't care about school.
I see. I felt that way about math, just by the way. I should tell you that. I did algebra 1 and 2 in 7th and 8th grade in middle school here.
Oh, that's
But
good.
I used to be really good at math, but when I hit high school, I'm doing algebra 1 in 8th grade, 1 in 9th, and algebra 2 in 9th grade. I get to high school, and they said, "Oh, we're going to put you in a general math class."
Huh?
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, "What? Shouldn't I be going to like geometry or calculus
Calculus.
or
Yeah.
something more advanced than this?" And they said, "Well, we don't have room in a class, but if you call your parents and send your parents up here." And I looked at this lady, this counselor. She knew I grew up in an orphanage. Most
Oh.
people don't know that, but I grew up in an orphanage, and I looked at her, and I got street. I was a street kid.
Oh.
And I got really, really, real raw and rare with her, and I cursed her out, and I dropped a couple F bombs, and I called her a F and this and a F and that. I mean, that's what street kids do. They don't have any filters.
Mm.
And I said, I don't have any effing parents to come up here and defend me. And I walked out of her door and slammed the door. So the fact is she knew that, but she just wanted to give the standard answer. She wasn't prepared for the for my response, because it wasn't the standard response.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the fact I mean, I get it about the abandonment. I get it about making it through on your own.
Yeah.
Most people don't have that determination.
Wow. Wow.
So when I'm like you, I had to learn I can do anything. It was up to me.
Yep. Yep.
So that's why when I said I honor you for what you've been through and how you've been, is because I've walked many things similar to you. I didn't lose my parents to war. Both my parents were in the military, but I lost them to society norms and to alcoholism.
Oh.
And so then the church told my mother she couldn't raise 6 kids by herself, and that they would help. And I I was 8 years old and ended up in an orphanage, separated from everybody.
Oh.
So we became those individuals. We had to
Yeah.
survive. And the horrors of kids, you never leave kids alone to their own devices, because they're brutal. They're very brutal.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know if you knew, but that is why I connect so much with you. And I'm so much in awe with you because of your ability technology-wise, because that's my weakest point in life. I had to have my husband create my computer idiot-proof, and I'm just honest.
That's actually that part is easy. What you're doing is way more difficult. Way more difficult.
From my point of view, I got into law enforcement, and I didn't have a voice. I couldn't speak the truth. I help people all the time. I worked with troubled youth. 21 years of my 40-year career, I worked with troubled youth. And I was paying it back. I told myself at 8, I wanted to become the person I needed at 8. And I have worked my entire life to get there.
Mm.
And for 21 years, I worked every day at it with kids that had, they were struggling in life. They were listening to society norms. They were listening to what was cool, what was acceptable. And that's where it gets people into trouble, because it's like, well, wait a minute. Don't lose your heritage. Don't lose your culture. Don't lose you.
Yeah.
In the sea of stupidity.
Yeah. Wow.
So I didn't know if you knew that. So I was like, okay, let me share that with her. But Chu, can you give my audience 3 tips on health to make their health better? Just general basic questions.
Yeah. Have good hydration, because our cells needs, our body is about 70% water, and plus our brain. So definitely drink water every day, and also sleep is very important, and breathe. Most of us forget to breathe, including myself. Yeah.
That's it. I love that. So now let's talk about 3 tips for technology.
So technology is I guess solving a problem was really fun. So approach it from a really fun and creative. For some reason, if our brain thing is fun, creative, and challenging, we'll find a solution. So fun. Yeah, theory is fun, and then also reach out to people, to the expert. Yeah, don't try to do everything yourself. Yeah, and then the third thing is which is very important. Like for me, when I write a program, I always think about who's going to use my program, right? So instead of implementing a program and then give it to the user, say, here, this is what you get. I reverse the process. I talk to my user first, say, what do you want in the program? And most of the time, by the time I finish the program, they already know, because they're part of the process. They already know. So then they don't need documentation, because they already know how the program's like, and then they feel good. Say, oh, this is our input. It's like the user interface. This is our input. So yeah.
I love that. So when you've gone through everything that you've gone through, sit back, take a deep breath in, close your eyes, and I want you to connect with that inner 5-year-old little Chu. What would she say about you today?
I think she's proud of me.
And she's honored that you didn't give up, because there was a couple times you were confused and didn't know what to do and didn't know where to go and didn't know how to do it. And she said, no, come on, Chu, you can do this.
Yeah.
You can do this. And then you said, breathe. She's saying, breathe. And it's that breathing that got you clarity to get you where you are, to be able to survive and go beyond everything you went through and become the amazing individual you are today.
Oh, thank you.
So I am so honored and so humbled and so grateful that you came on my podcast today.
Thank you for your invitation. I feel very honored.
Hang on one second. It takes a special kind of individual to dream their dreams, their thoughts or ideas, and turning it into their reality. Chu Tang has stepped past her fears, stepped past any obstacles. She stayed the course and had the courage to do the follow through the end, no matter what she experienced, no matter what she went through. Chu Tang, you've championed yourself. Now we know who you've become. Thank you for sharing your ideas, your thoughts, and your dreams with us today. And I am honored to have you here with me.